I've been doing this a long time, man. And the reason why people don't really know that I've been doing this a long time is because I just popped up on the scene on YouTube probably about 8-9 years ago. You understand? But all of these talks that people are having, whether it's systemic racism, redlining, Willie Lynch syndrome, Stockholm syndrome, PTSD, post-traumatic slavery disorder. I mean, the list goes on. I was talking about that prior to me being on YouTube. I knew about this particular information 20 years ago. All of this information is basically old. And it's crazy because, and I'm going to make my point. We're going to talk about, the subject, hip-hop and mass incarceration. But it's crazy that it's still people that's not really touching on something that I've been saying for the longest, and that's transhumanism and technological singularity. It seems as though that people have brushed over that. And that is just as important as anything else that you may be talking about. Whether it's RFID chips, nanobots, nanodust, all this stuff correlates, right? So, I've seen a lot of people talk about hip-hop and mass incarceration. And what I dislike about it is when Caucasians get up there and they start talking about hip-hop and mass incarceration, and how hip-hop and mass incarceration they correlate. You understand? I get the whole thing. I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to build on something that you all truly, overstand. Major record labels have stake in, these private owned prisons. Thus, they allow the inner city youth to talk about what they wanted to. Well, first of all, they sign them and they offer them little to nothing, and then they allow them the freedom to talk about what they want to talk about. And 9 times out of 10, these kids, have grown up in the city, and that's all they know is the hood. So they're gonna talk about selling drugs and mistreating women and just doing all types of foul shit that you normally wouldn't do if you were raised with your mother and your father, and your mother and both parents and your parents had common sense. It's just that plain and simple. So, of course, these rappers are rapping and they not knowing that they're being used as a tool to get to influence their peers, to influence their fan base. Their fan base in turns hears this music, and they don't understand that these rappers are just rapping about what they've done in the past, or some of them might have been rapping about things that they haven't done, that they heard somebody else do, or they seen somebody else do, right? But these fans, these young cats, what I'm saying, that are not rappers, that don't have a father in their household, that don't have a mentor, don't have a bigger brother to guide them the right way. All they have is their rappers. They listen to that mess, and they take their rappers serious. And they think that what the rappers are talking about is real, and it's cool, and it's hip, and that's what they're supposed to do. So they go out and they rob, and they shoot, and they kill, and then they get locked up. Next thing you know, they're in prison making 20 cents an hour. Thus, the 13th Amendment. That is totally legal to have slaves. So, I want to go a little further than that. I get that part, and I know you all get it, right? You all get that. But mass incarceration didn't start there. Mass incarceration started in Africa when we were kidnapped. So, let's just take hip-hop out of the situation. Because most people want to blame it on the music and the message that the music portrays, right? But this didn't just start in America. This started in Africa when we were kidnapped. See, this is the thing. And I'm not going to let y'all do that, right? Specifically Caucasian people that address this whole thing with hip-hop and mass incarceration, right? I'm not going to let you all use hip-hop as an scapegoat. Because from what I see, you all are blaming hip-hop, thus you're blaming black people for everything that's going on in the black community. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. It's not going to happen. Let's keep it real and let's start from where it started at. Not the middle part. Let's start from the very beginning. And in the very beginning, you all had no business. Your European ancestors, not mine. Your forefathers, not mine, had no business kidnapping, stealing a group of people and forcing them into working for free. That's mass incarceration right there. There's a thing called TransAtlantic slave trade. And there were millions that were stolen from the coast of Africa. How in the hell do you leave that out when you're talking about mass incarceration? How do you leave that out? King Leopold is responsible for killing over 3 million Congolese people. 3 million. How do you leave that out when you're talking about mass incarceration? I know, because you want to put the blame on someone, and you don't want to put the blame on yourself. You don't want to put the blame on your European ancestors. You don't want to do that. It's easy for you to use hip hop as an scapegoat. It's easy for you to blame it on hip hop artists, and not so much of the presidents, the CEOs, the owner of Sony, Elektra, Interscope, and the list goes on. It's easy for you to blame, and I do it at times, and I apologize. It's easy for you to blame Spot Got 'em, King Von. It's easy for you to do that. It's easy for you to blame Future. But the only way that they can put out the music and everybody can listen to it, they don't have the money to fund their own projects. It's the machine that does. And I'm tired of people saying, well, you got to get the machine behind you. What you're talking about is a group of white people coming together and putting their money into one project, and their ideas and their marketing and advertising teams into one project. That's the machine. A group of white people with the intentions of making record sales, and they don't care about the inner city. They don't care. They're disposable. I've seen it. I'm old enough to see how record labels really work. And I thought my generation, I thought Busta Rhymes and NWA and Wu-Tang and Redman and all these people were gonna be like on the top forever. And guess what? Once the record labels got sick and tired of them, once these guys got older, DMX and all these different people got older and started to research and say, oh man, look at my contract. I'm in a fucked up contract. Once they started to become what? Wise. Because when you get older, you're supposed to be wise and wisdom, right? Once they started to ask questions, now you got to get rid of them. And you got to bring a whole new idiot. Fuck it. You got to bring a whole new bunch of idiots that don't know shit. That's just hungry, that's ready to get out of the hood, and they'll do whatever it takes by any means necessary to get the hell out. And they'll accept whatever you give them. If it's more, listen, if they have $5 and you offering to give them $6, they'll take it. That plain and simple. I'm old enough to see how this goes. And let me tell you something, in the next 15, 20 years, Cardi B is gonna be expendable. The Migos are gonna be expendable. Spot Got 'em is gonna be expendable. Lil Durk is going to be expendable. NBA Youngboy is going to be expendable because they've already used you all up, and now they got to move on to the next generation. That's how this thing works. And with that being said, you can't sit here and blame the artist. The artist is getting jerked. So hip hop has totally nothing to do with mass incarceration. The Europeans have something to do with mass incarceration. Your European ancestors have something to do with mass incarceration. All things to do with it. And being that we live in a European society where if it's not racism going on, there's classism going on. And who started that? So stop trying to blame hip hop on a bunch of people being incarcerated, because we know that that's totally false. We know that you all created a project, and you call it the projects. And in the projects, you have food deserts. I don't know if you all know what food desert is. A food desert is an area where you can't get fresh produce, fresh vegetables, fresh meat. Name me one project where you can get kosher meat at. Name me one project where they have a fruit stand, a farmer's market. And don't tell me, see, this is the problem that I have. You all will tell me that, well, the people don't want it. How do you know what we want? Because you sure as hell are not in our community asking what we want and what we need, because of the fact that you think that you're God. And the reason why I know you think that you, or rather believe that you're God, is because of the fact that you've gone so far to be egotistical enough to paint the image of you. To paint an image of you as being the Christ or God. And you have my black people worshiping a white Jesus and a white God. So you truly believe that you're God, but you're not. You truly believe and you think that you know what it's like to be black and what black people like and don't like. No, it's not that. It's not that you know what we like and don't like. You forced us to like what we like and don't like. You forced us to listen to music that we may or may not like, but you play it so many goddamn times on a radio station to the point where it's like, holy shit, it sounds good. That's some Houdini shit. That's some technology shit. Straight up. You're putting people in a trance. You're casting spells through the music. I'm trying to figure out, I just listened to this song and I'm trying to figure out, why do I want Burger King? Why? And I just listened to this rap song. Why do I want it? Because they're casting spells through the songs. They're putting their products in different placements in the videos called product placement. So somebody picks up the new iPhone 12 and starts to call someone in a video, and now you're looking at it like, oh man, I need one of those. That looks cool. Why you wonder why they like rappers to advertise liquor? Like, rappers are a big influence to the youth, the inner city youth. The middle class and high class, they not so much. Why? Because they have parents. And their parents tell them, teach them better. So white people, what white young people love to do, they love listening to hip hop because they can imagine. It's an adventure to them. Living in the hood and hearing about it. They'll never go to it. And they listen to that music just to listen to it. It's recreation for recreation. It's you know, I don't have nothing to do and I want to listen to this. I want to feel a certain way. But while they're doing that, they know that they have to take care of their priorities. And they don't take rap literally to be serious. It's for fun. That plain and simple. And once you get older, you can put that shit down. You can utilize rap the way that you want to utilize it. And then once you've used it towards your advantage, you can let it go. Just like Mark Wahlberg. Such a vibration now. Dun, dun, dun. It's just a sweet sensation. Pull up. Marky Mark. That was his name. Once he became a movie star, he gave up rapping. The list goes on of how many people that have gotten into our culture and used it and walked the fuck out. And you want to talk about hip hop and mass incarceration. How about cultural appropriation? How about that? How about cultural appropriation and the breakdown in the black family? How about that? Let's talk about that. Let's address that. Let's address how every time we build something, you Europeans destroy it. And then turn around and point the finger at us. You did it. How, I just saw you just destroy my land. And then you're going to tell me it's my fault that you destroyed it? You came into our culture. We allowed y'all to come in. Me personally, I would have taxed your asses. Personally, because let me tell you something. And I don't care who gets mad. What do white people do? The question is, do white people actually deserve? No. Take it back. Do East Indians, Chinese, Japanese, Mexicans, and the likes, outside of the black race, right? And when I mean black race, I include the Puerto Ricans, I include the Dominicans, I include the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Africans, I include all of them, right? Outside of our race. What has anyone outside of our race done for the black race to deserve to be part of the hip-hop culture? That's all I want to know. What have you all done? Because last time I checked, East Indians are some of the racist ass people I've ever seen in my life. Last time I checked, the Asians are some of the racist ass people I've ever seen in my life. Last time I checked, the Europeans are some of the racist ass people I've ever seen in my life. And it's crazy. I did a video, right? I don't know which channel I'm gonna put this on. More than likely, it might be on the new one. I did a video and I posted up on an old one, and I was talking about how Megan Thee Stallion donated $50,000 towards Atlanta. You know, the whole thing with the Koreans being killed, right? And I said, and you know, in the Olympic Games, you're not allowed to wear any type of Black Lives Matter, you know, apparel, right? Or you'll be disciplined if you do. Kicked out and disciplined, right? So in the comment section, people corrected me and were saying, well, Japan don't have nothing to do with it. It's a committee, and they all agree. That makes it worse. You know what I'm saying? Because I said Japan, you know, made it so that in the Olympic Games, you couldn't wear Black Lives Matter apparel, right? I was wrong. There's a committee, and there's a board, and everybody agreed on it. That makes it even worse. So you helped me out. Because it wasn't just the Japanese that agreed on it. It was whomever that was on that committee, whether it was a Russian, a Chinese dude, an American white dude, a Portuguese dude. The list goes on. All of them agreed that we're not allowing any type of Black Lives Matter movement shit in the Olympics, even though that there's a pandemic going on prior to COVID-19. And that pandemic is the killing of black people by police officers worldwide. So it's crazy to me, even though you think you may have gotten me, even though you may say, checkmate, I still will bust your ass. I can't wait until I do this podcast, because I'm just dying for you all to call in so I can embarrass you all. Period. Because y'all think y'all know something. And let me tell you something, I'm far more smarter than you all. You want to know why? Because I know I don't know nothing at all. I don't know anything. I have yet to learn anything. But you all know it all. But yeah, man. I'm not trying to hear it. Don't blame hip-hop. Blame your ancestors. Blame your race. Don't put the blame on hip-hop. You all are your race is using hip-hop as a tool against us. At one point in time, when we had the power of hip-hop, right? When it was in our hands, there weren't no killings and none of that shit going on. None of that. The only person that really got killed was which a man from Nas and Scott LaRock. Scott LaRock, whatever his name is, I forgot his name, and it's been so long. Scott LaRock from KRS-One and BDP. Him and Ill Will with Nas. And Ill Will wasn't, to my knowledge, I looked at the documentary, so I think he was somewhat rhyming, but he wasn't a rapper. He was just Nas's homeboy. Wasn't really no murders. Rappers weren't getting murdered like that back in the days. But all of a sudden, now things have changed and rappers are dying by the dozen, man. We're dying by the bullet and by what we put in our mouths, the food that we eat. And now, if I come out and I say I'm cooking up something, and I'm getting healthy, and this and that's corny. You'd rather me say I'm cooking up them, putting up them pots, cooking up them, getting them rocks, and selling them, da-da-da-da-da. That's something that you can fuck with. But if I'm talking about getting your mind and your health right, I don't want to hear that. Don't you see that? Don't you hear that? Let me tell you something, and I'm about to end this because it's too long. It's like 20 minutes or something long. Let me tell you something. Start rhyming about doing harm to white people, selling drugs to white people. Start rhyming about all of the shit that you talk about as far as dealing with black people, but put it towards white people. And I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, that song will be put on the shelf forever. If you don't believe that there's a plan out here for us black folks, I don't know what to tell you. Or rather, you want to call it an agenda. I don't know what to tell you. I tell you what, I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely share this video. Peace.